Good and Bad Death Battles. Danny Phantom versus Avatar Aang. Yes, I am back for Season 3, and what a way to start it, with Nicktoons' finest. But who can win in a death battle, and will it be good or bad? Let's find out, everybody. Danny's strength is a mystery, but an educated guess is he is able to lift 10 to 30 tons. He has been strong enough to rip through reinforced titanium without struggling. He's able to lift and throw a dragon ghost and knock it out with one punch. And he's hold a school bus full of kids without hurting himself. While not physically strong, Aang knows two fighting styles. His first one is Chu Gar Praying Mantis Kung Fu, which is basically street fighting because it has the hands ready for attack and defense of the upper body, while it has the legs moving quickly into range through footwork to protect and defend the body, but the kicks are kept low. His other fighting style is Baiguazhang, which consists of a set of footwork and paw movements to dodge and walk circles around the enemy and strike unexpectedly, as well as defend from all angles. When it comes down to pure strength, Danny towers over Aang. While the Avatar is the better fighter, Danny is clearly stronger, and to make himself even stronger, he has the special ability of power augmentation, which increases his strength. So the winner of strength contest is Danny. Being a ghost, Danny has the ability of flight, and in the episode, he is clocked in at 112 miles per hour, but it's likely he's gotten faster. In another episode, he went to Amity Park all the way back to Madison, Wisconsin in a matter of hours, where it took the Fenton RV 3 days to make it. So yes, he has gotten faster than that. Aang is quick and agile. Being airbender, yeah, it makes sense. He uses his airbending for his glider that makes him glide and, well, actually just fly through the air very fast. And he also uses his airbending to make air scooters, which he can use in battle very quickly. And he seems to have mastered this. And also in the episode The Blue Spirit, he has been described as fast as the winds, so there's that. When it comes down to speed, the winner is Aang. Look, we haven't got a true measurement of Aang's speed, but compared to Danny, when you're described as fast as the wind, you must be pretty fast. So Aang is the winner of the speed round. Danny's endurance is far greater than any human's. In his ghost form, Danny's body is incredibly resistant to damage, and he's also demonstrated a high threshold for pain. His ghost tissues and bones are considerably harder and more resistant to physical injury. In the episode The Fright Before Christmas, he's barely fazed by getting brutally attacked by a giant nutcracker. Yes, that happened for you new Nicktoon fans. And in Ultimate Enemy, when Danny is attacked by a future evil self, he is still able to stand up to him. However, his future evil self, Dark Danny, did not use his full strength, otherwise he would kill himself. Remember, guys, that's time travel, so don't think real hard about how that works. Okay, let me just tell you this now. Aang is the Avatar, and while that is great and all, he still has the durability of a normal human. Maybe it's a little bit greater. He's been thrown through dirt, rocks, and crystal before, but still, he's still only like a normal human with incredible power. I'm not going to waste anyone's time here. The clear winner of endurance is Danny. Like I said before, Aang's durability is that of a normal human. While he has stopped some impressive stuff before, this has all been accomplished by his bending, either making shields or using it to block almost anything. So yeah, Danny has taken beatings more than Aang, so the winner is Danny. And if anyone brings up that whole Azula killing Aang, well, barely, almost killing Aang, look, so Katara brought him back like that. So yeah, don't bring that crap up. Alright, let's talk about those ghost powers. Danny's main power is his ghost ray, which is the ecto green energy blast, which comes out of his hands, fingertips, and even his ass. That's funny. This power is mostly effective with emotion. When Danny's ever angry, it gets completely stronger. And the Ghost Ray has a lot of other variations, like the Ecto Energy Strike, the Ecto Energy Ball, the Ecto Energy Waves, and the Explosive Ecto Energy Disc, which is basically their version of the Destructo Disc, and Energy Rings. This is a power you don't want to get hit with. Danny also has a repulsion field, which he uses to distance himself from enemies whenever he's surrounded. He also has the ectoplasmic energy shield, which he uses to block in many of attacks. And he also knows the power of duplication, which he saw from Vlad, but this is a power he's yet to master because he still struggles on doing it. Alright, let me just tell everyone this. Invisibility and intangibility are two separate powers. They are different. They are not one and the same. Invisibility is the power of Danny that allows him to become unseen by the world. He's still touchable though, and with the power of invisibility, with physical contact, however, he can make other things invisible. And intangibility now, he is still seen, but he becomes almost untouchable by anything else. He can make other things untangible too with physical contact. See how they sound similar? But here's where they both benefit each other. When Danny's invisible, he can also make himself intangible too at the same time. So there's where they come at each other. Danny also has cryokinesis, which means, yes, he has ice powers, which he uses to combine with his ghost rays to make awesome combos. With this ability, it also increases his resistance to low and high temperature. Wait a minute. Since he has the power to control ice, and waterbenders kind of know ice too, wouldn't that make Danny? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just messing with you. Finally, we come down to Danny's most powerful attack, the ghostly wail, which is basically a sonic scream. But these sonic waves are made of pure ecto energy that can cause great damage to ghosts, humans, and tangible matter. It's powerful enough to destroy a ghost shield and most ghost-proof resistance, and it's also effective against multiple targets. There's only one side effect to this though. It completely drains Danny's powers, but at the end of the series, he seems to overcome this. We really don't call them powers. We call them bending, which I will break down in categories. And don't worry, I won't forget certain things. Let's get started. Aang is an airbending master, the youngest in history actually. He's so great that he created his own technique, the air scooter. But let's get down to what he can actually do with airbending. He has the ability to create tornadoes and currents of air strong enough to lift or deflect extremely heavy objects. His skill was so great, but Aang, being who he is, was mostly a pacifist. He used this for pure defense or evasion, or another roundabout methods of combat. But this is still his greatest bending that he's ever used. Aang was also a great waterbender. He was able to make massive tidal waves, and he was able to control large streams of water. But waterbending was his least used element, since he wasn't like a natural waterbender and carry a water skin with him. He would only do it from large bodies of water like lakes, rivers, and oceans. So waterbending wasn't used that much. Earthbending was a little tricky for Aang, since it was the opposite of his natural element, air, but he would soon learn it, master it, and this would become his second most used element. With earthbending, Aang was capable of bending large boulders, send massive columns of rock flying, or form earth armor around his body for protection. He would also learn seismic sense right after this, and since he's more of a defense fighter, Aang would use earthbending to create walls, shelters, and restraints to neutralize his opponents rather than harm them. But since it's death battle, this would come out, they would possibly take that out. Now we come to firebending, the element Aang learned very soon, but he would soon regret doing it, but he would have to learn anyway. And also, he hasn't mastered this yet, so keep that in mind. But with it, he had powerful blasts and kicks that was able to destroy a Fire Nation airship. And also, since he's the Avatar, he can combine firebending with earthbending to control and manipulate lava and magma. Okay, I think I covered that all well. Now let's get down to energy. Oh crap. Yeah, I forgot. It gets enhanced by the Avatar state. Okay, let's go ahead and start this. In the Avatar state, Aang's air bending has increased to the point where he can erode solid rock with one powerful gust of air. Water bending in the Avatar state allows Aang to bend water from such remote distances a common waterbender cannot reach, and he can also raise waters of an entire ocean, mimicking the moon pulling the tides. He was also capable of compressing massive volumes of water into smaller streams that allows him to increase the force and pressure and making it easier to transport. In the Avatar state, Aang's earthbending is increased. He can manipulate massive columns of rock and compress boulders into pebbles or send rocks flying at high speeds in rapid succession, while requiring no physical connection with the ground to earthbend. Firebending for Aang in the Avatar state has taken to the next level. He's now able to use firebending to construct streams of fire so powerful and so destructive is able to melt solid stone. Okay, are we done with that? Are we done? Okay, good. Now, as I was saying, energy bending allows the Aang to strip bending abilities and transfer knowledge from one person to another. And if anyone says restore, just a heads up, I'm using the end of the series Aang, not The Legend of Korra. I'm sticking true to the original. So, yeah, there's that information that you just now learned. I'm sorry, I'm terrible, I know. This is not so much a power, this is more like a natural ability. The Avatar Spirit is an ability that allows Aang to reconnect with his past avatars and use his avatar state at its full potential. It took a little bit of time, but when it came down to it, I do believe Danny's ghost powers surpass Aang's bending. Here's why. The ghostly wail will most likely break through all of Aang's defenses, especially his earth defense, because the ghostly wail has broken through and tore up the earth before, so yeah, there's that. If Danny were to go on the defense, he would most likely use his intangibility more than his shields, and I'm pretty sure, well actually I'm damn right sure, that Aang's attacks won't even hurt him once he goes intangible. At first, I was going to say Aang's firebending defeats Danny's cryokinesis, but I saw back then how cold he made his, so basically they would equal each other out. So I had to put waterbending up this, since Aang has been able to control ice and snow with waterbending, so yeah, they both will cancel each other out with this stuff. If Danny even tries to overshadow Aang, he will be forcefully pushed out thanks to the Avatar Spirit. Now, it comes down to two ways how he'll be pushed out. It's either going to be that giant Avatar Spirit within Aang, or it's going to be the past Avatar forcing Danny out. Now, here's the big main question everyone in the comments are asking. Can Aang use energy bending to take Danny's ghost powers away? Well, I'm here to answer that, and I'm here to say no. Now, here's why. Not for obvious reasons, because it's bending. I still believe Aang can still take away other stuff too, like that. But I think he can only take away stuff that comes naturally. Danny's powers were given to him by an accident, and then he would later, at the end of the series, lose those powers using that same accident, but then gain them back with ghosts blasting him. So that's how Danny's powers work through an accident. If this was a death battle, the winner would be Danny Phantom for his ghost powers mostly, and a little bit due to his strength and durability. Now, let me just say this: this would be a good death battle. Now, I've heard others would make this fight happen, say it'd be a stomp on both sides' part, but it wouldn't be a stomp. It would just be interesting to fight and seeing how anyone would counteract each other. Anyway, guys, that's season 3 starting. Below in the comments, tell me a good or bad death battle, and I'll judge it, see if it's good or bad. Subscribe to Death Battle to see the actual fights happen, and we probably might see one of mine happen too. Subscribe to me, that would help me a lot. Give me to 1,000 subscribers, I would like that. And, well, peace!
He's a phantom. Young Danny Phantom, he was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to view a world unseen.